Okay, let's do some yoga. We're going to start in an upright standing position. Let's get our feet together, the ankles as close together as you possibly can. Try and get your big toes touching, even if that means having a little bend forward and just drawing those big toes together helps straighten out those bones in the feet. Place the rest of the toes nice and firmly in the mat or the ground beneath you. Let's close the eyes and feel our way now. Let's tune in. We are standing in Tadasana, mountain posture, a very upright and lifting position. Your aim is to get your head, the weight of it equally centred over your shoulders, and then your head and shoulders centrally weighted over your hips. And then you want that upper part of your body, your head, shoulders, torso, central over the lower section of the body, hips, legs, feet. And with the eyes closed, you might feel the transference of weight between the soles of your feet, and you want to centralise this deeper and further yet. Grounding into the four corners of the feet. No stress or tension or pressure in the toes. You should be able to pick your toes up and wiggle them quite easily, then place them back to the mat. And draw in to your central meridian, an energy channel that runs directly through the centre of you, from the base of your spine to the crown of your head. Draw into this central meridian. Perhaps see it as a metal pole and you are wrapping yourself around that metal pole. You are drawing flesh back to muscle, flesh and muscle to connect with bone. Looking inward, picturing your skeletal frame. Use your imagination, your powers of visualization to see your skeleton. And to get Tadasana really nicely aligned, be aware if you are standing with your chest forward, your buttocks pushing back, and a dip in the base of your spine. If you are, what you want to do is bring one hand onto your tummy, your lower stomach, just beneath the belly button. Place your other hand at the lower back. Breathe in, lift up, and then tilt your pelvis. Where your hands are, you're holding your pelvic girdle, front and back. Now when you tilt your pelvis, you'll feel that your shoulders quite naturally want to just move back a little bit because they are now centering themselves over your hips. You'll also feel a natural pull of your stomach in. And the belly button will have a pull back, in and down. So the belly button here is almost like it is buttoning itself to the base of the spine, around the sacrum or the dorsal lumbar region. And this is great, it's very beneficial because your stomach is now giving some support to the lower back and spine. Nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, roll those shoulders back, draw the shoulder blades towards each other, and then allow the arms to hang nice and loosely by the sides of the body. The palms soft, the fingers limp, allowing them to naturally drop down toward the floor. Your chin is parallel with the mat. And then tune in to the flow of breath. Once again, becoming aware that as you breathe in, your rib cage opens And it opens at the front, the back and the sides at the same time. As the ribcage opens, the breath is drawing into the lungs. They are filling, inflating from bottom to top. And your diaphragm, the large expanse of muscle just beneath the ribcage, is moving downward, gently massaging your internal organs. This is all happening while you're breathing in, and then at the top of that breath, hold for just a moment. And then consciously observe, as you breathe out, your diaphragm relaxes into its original position. Therefore, the rest of the body follows that pattern. The rest of the body relaxes, surrenders. The rib cage closes, front, back, sides, synchronized in their closure. And as the rib cage closes, it then, and the diaphragm lifting, this then forces the lungs to release the air, the breath. Scan the body for any pockets of tension. Let go of them if you have them. Just release. And be aware of this upward lifting feeling every time you breathe in. And it starts from the soles of the feet. You'll rise up at the ankles. You'll lift through the shins and calf muscles. You'll open out the backs of the knees and rise up there whilst lifting the knees themselves. And you'll notice that once you start lifting these lower parts of the body, then you commence a continuum. For everything above those lower parts just want to go in the same direction, so everything starts to lift. You'll feel that as you raise your knees, your thighs will quite naturally want to lift. The hamstrings will move upwards. You'll have this connection with the buttocks, the flesh on the buttocks, and you'll pick the flesh up, lift it up. You start creating space on the outer body, rising the flesh upwards. You are also experiencing space being made inside the body as you pull up pubis to navel, navel to breastbone, breastbone to brow, brow to crown of head, and even higher. Fully rising up. Tadasana, mountain pose, will change the way you view yourself. It will change the way other people view you, for you will be more upstanding, lifted, elevated. You'll have this aura of space around you. It's very beneficial because all this space that you have made allows for each breath that comes into you now, which carries oxygen, life-giving oxygen. It'll be able to move freely and disperse around your body, reach all those parts that may not have seen the light of day for many years. Space. Internally and externally. Unclench your teeth. Unfurrow your brow. Allow the skin on your face to soften. Tadasana, mountain posture. Very simplistic, has many benefits, very self-empowering. It gives you a new sense of balance. Good. So continuing with this newfound balance, a bit of coordination going to come in now as well. We're going to practice the foundation of Vrksasana, tree posture. Now, during this position, we'll take away one of our senses, sense of sight. We use our sense of sight over and above most of our other senses. For we will use our eyes to assume what our food is going to taste like. We'll use our eyes to listen to people in the sense that we're watching their face, maybe we're seeing their expression, rather than actually using our sense of hearing to listen to them. So our sense of sight becomes predominant. In this posture, we're going to take away the sense of sight, and you will really feel that you might sway quite harshly. You might fall to the side maybe, so be aware of this. But over time, once you get your balance and you get grounding of your feet in the earth, you'll become nice and balanced, even with the eyes closed. So let's move forward. Vrukshasana, tree posture, the foundation. We could call this the roots of the tree. So let's take our weight onto our right foot, and we're going to peel our left heel off of the mat, just coming onto the tiptoe, and check that you're keeping your hips level. Avoid pushing a hip out to the side, slumping in the middle, rounding the shoulders. You want to continue to have your central meridian that we spoke of earlier to remain nice and straight, nice and centralised, and for your torso to be uplifting, almost like a column, a pillar. We're then going to bring those left toes to rest just onto the top of the right foot. And we're not crashing down in those toes. We're not allowing them to push down into our standing foot. We could actually get a bus ticket between the ball of the foot and the front of the right foot. Check as well if you've let your buttocks push back to the wall behind you. You might need to just again have that little tilt of your pelvis. Pull your belly button in. Secure it to the base of the spine. Breathe in. Bring the hands together to rest at the heart, the place of all truth. Nice strong standing leg. You're still lifting. You've got that sense of a raised knee, an elevated thigh, along with the back of the leg. And then very slowly, you will begin to lower your gaze to about 6 foot in front of you on the floor. And then gently bring the gaze to the floor just in front of you. Unclench your teeth. And then nice and slowly, you will lower the eyelids over the eyeballs. This is where you will feel, for some of you, quite a categoric sway or maybe falling out of the posture. That's fine, bring yourself back. Centralise yourself. Breathe. Ensure that you lengthen the breath. Ensure that with your power of visualization, you connect with your central meridian and feel it dropping down into the earth beneath you, but also reaching up out of the crown of your head and beyond. And then gently release out. Bring the weight to return to both feet. And be aware how that now feels. And then transfer to the other side. So you're going to make your left leg a nice strong standing leg. Everything has begun to lift to create space. And you're going to peel that right heel away from the mat and place the right toes on top of the left foot. Breathe in, bring the hands, the palms of the hands, to come together and rest them at the heart. Draw those shoulders back, tilt the pelvis, so you can actually sense that your head and shoulders are directly centre weighted over your hips. And then nice and slowly, you'll begin to lower your gaze to the floor in front of you. Keep the breath flowing. See if you can lengthen both your inhalations and exhalations. And allow the eyes to close. And when the eyes close, rise up through your body, lift to the crown of your head. Breathe. Get rid of any tension, unclench your teeth. And gently release. Let the hands go. And you might need to give the legs a little bit of a shake now. So that's the roots of the tree posture. And this position can be practiced anywhere. It can be practiced whilst you're in the kitchen, perhaps waiting for something to cook on the stove. It can be practiced first thing in the morning, last thing at night. Remember, patience with your practice will procure a progressive way forward. Let's go to Tadasana now, tree posture. We'll take our weight onto our right foot. You're remaining elevated through your body. You've got nice relaxed shoulders, nice relaxed jawline. Now take your left foot, you can either have the sole of the foot connecting to the ankle, or you could bring it to knee level, the inner knee, or you could bring it, the heel of the left foot right up to the perineum, right up to the top of the inner thigh. Now use your left hand to gently draw that left knee back in line with the left hip. The trunk of your body still centrally forward, still lifted, still acting as if it was a column. Your head and shoulders directly over your hips. Let's breathe in and raise the hands to shoulder level. Exhale, stretch the energy from the shoulders to the fingertips. Keeping focused and staying observant of the breath, let's very slowly turn the chin and the eyes to look over the left hand. And come back to the centre. And then turn to look past the right fingertips. And all the while, you're still attentive to having that lift and elevation and that surrender on an out breath so that you're relaxing into the movement. And then indeed, when you next exhale, lower the hands and release the foot. You might want to give your legs a little bit of a shake. From one of the great sages of yoga, BKS Iyengar, one of the things he said that whilst you're in a position, sometimes you might feel pain. And this is a good pain. This is your body making new movements, creating new suppleness and flexibility, something that it may not have had since you were very young. And it's just the body's way of realising it's getting this new movement. So the pain is a good pain, and as soon as you come out of the position, it should stop. It's only if there's prolonged pain that you're possibly maybe misaligned, or your ego is pushing you to go too far too soon. So keep check on all these things. Let's go to the other side now. We've got a lovely strong standing left leg, nice and lifted through the knee and the thigh, and at the buttocks. Always remember the back of your body as well. You may not be able to see it, but you can still communicate with it. Use your right hand to gently bring your right knee out in line with your hip, wherever you may wish to place your right foot, whether it be at the ankle the knee, or the topmost of the inner thigh. And then we'll breathe in, raise the hands to shoulder level, exhale, stretch across the chest in opposing directions to all fingers and thumbs. And then from the shoulder girdle, as we breathe in, we're going to rotate the arms. So be aware that you're not just turning your wrists. Turn your arms from the shoulder girdle, ball and socket joint. Great potential for movement there. As you exhale, extend the fingertips down towards the mat. And then breathe in, slowly raise the arms, bringing those hands up over the head, palms of the hands together, and then draw them down to rest just above the crown of the head. Keep your elbows in line with your ears. A slight tilt of the pelvis, checking that you've still got that nice straightness and alignment of the torso, that your head and shoulders are stacked directly above your hips. Unclench your teeth, breathe. And then raise the hands up, lift up, release, stretch them out, and release the foot. And then you might like to give the legs a little bit of a shake. An important thing to remember is that the slower you move, the more consciously you are able to control. So through all your postures and practice, remember to have slowness of movement, and that way your brain, your mind can tell your body what to do, and your body has the time to catch up and do it. Let's bring ourselves down onto the mat. Let's draw the soles of the feet together. Let's link our fingers and place them around our toes. Allow the knees to drop out and away from the body. Nice deep breath in as you lift up through the trunk of the body. Bring the chin parallel to the mat. And then gently begin to flicker the knees up and down, the butterfly. The butterfly position, allowing to increase mobility in the hips. So in this posture you can close the eyes, you can take an inward view, and even if the hips feel really stiff at the moment and the knees feel as if they're just not going up and down, stay with it. Breathe in, breathe out, let go, relax, and watch. And little by little, as you reverse the pattern of so many years where you've increased your stress and your tension and your bones have become rigid, as you watch your breath, you will begin to experience the reversing of this stress and tension. You'll be more aware of your outbound breath and how with it comes a sense, an experience of surrender, of release, of letting go. Nice and gently. And then we can release. Let's take the toes with one of our hands, use our other hand, whichever side you want to do first. You can grasp the flesh of your buttock, pull it out behind you and up into the small of your back. Vice versa on the other side, pull that buttock out and up into the small of the back, and then that just sits you further forward onto your ischium. The ischium is the base of the pelvis here, a little bone that when tilted forward actually assists your spine in forward flexion. From this position, Tadasana, bound cobbler, we're going to take a breath in. We're going to think of picking our hips up and out of our femur bones. Our femur bones, those long thigh bones, they're a ball and socket joint, the hips are. So pick them up, lift up, and then hinge them forward, nice and gently. And you can draw your elbows and forearms outside of your shin bones. And every time you breathe in, you connect with the base of your spine and you elevate up through the vertebra of the spine, 33 bones in your spinal cord. Some of us do have 34. The anomaly there is down in the coccygeal region where the bones are flat and fused. Some of us have 4, some of us have 5. You know, take the time to possibly research your spinal cord and see how when you breathe in, you lift those single vertebra, there are intervertebral discs too, and by lifting the single vertebra up through the lumbar, the thoracic and the cervical spine, you're making space and allowing oxygen to penetrate. Oxygen is life-giving. It rebuilds, it nurtures, it nourishes. And by staying in the position for seconds, leading into minutes, you'll be able to really observe what is occurring, the breath and the movement synchronizing, two becoming one. And then pull the tummy in to lend support to the spine as you restack the bones of the spine. Shoulders above the hips, chin parallel with the mat. Little cross-legged moment. Simple mudra. Bring the index finger to curl with the thumb. Rest them on the knees. Draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Have a thought of gratitude for wherever you are in life, in this moment, no matter possibly how harsh. Find somewhere the spark of gratitude. Plant that seed and it will grow. And release. And enjoy the rest of the day and make most of this space in time that you have.